most of the time, but more of making sure that we are guiding you in the right direction, especially if this dip is gonna, be a little bit more for the rebound, and why it could potentially rebound. And a lot of people are saying, should we always be buying dips? So today is one of those days. Yeah, so let's just wait first. Let the stream populate a little bit. We are going to be sharing it on our Telegram group. So if you're not part of the Telegram group, don't forget to join us. That is CG Telegram, our Crypto Grinders Telegram group. Also, don't forget we have CG Market Watch. CG Market Watch is our other Telegram group where we cover the news around the cryptocurrency space, and those who just love to read and catch up, right? Because there are so many news sites out there, so many articles about various things about cryptocurrency. We will cover that in CG Market Watch, okay? And then of course we have our YouTube channel. So if you have not subscribed, don't forget to subscribe, and yeah, click on the notification button or the bell so that you will always be notified of the latest videos or live streams that are happening. So today I have, oops, wow, how come it's so dark now suddenly? Wait, it's like there's no sun. Oh, okay. Right, so can you guys see us? Wait, let me see. Okay. So today I've invited JJ Andy to come on the stream with us because we have a very short time frame, so it's good to kind of listen up on what is happening. Hey, have you shared to the Telegram already?
Yep.
Okay. Right. So yes, what's up, RJ? Okay. So right now, right, we are going to just cover a little bit about should you be buying dips. I think buying dips is, some of you all are saying that buying dips is getting old. So to me, right, why is buying dips getting old? Isn't it the best time to kind of make money when you are able to get a cryptocurrency or a particular asset class cheaper? And where else and when else do we buy a dip, buy the cryptocurrency? Obviously, you want to buy it when it's cheaper or when it takes a hit, right? So I'm not very sure why some people were mentioning that buying the dip is getting old. Yeah, maybe he's commenting on the, maybe these people are commenting on the term buy the dip. So today I, instead of just me talking from my perspective, I think Andy would be someone who trades the markets, right? He looks at things from a technical analysis standpoint, and perhaps he can zero in on why this dip is always good to buy so far. And yeah, so let's hear from Andy.
Yep. So I won't be able to show you the charts here, right? But what we can really see is that Bitcoin actually dipped about 6%, 6.6% since yesterday. The significant big dip. And there's a certain correlation towards Dow Jones, right? Because how it links to tech stocks, and therefore BTC got taken a hit. So I think one of the argument here, one of the understanding and we need to kind of establish is also for the fact that is BTC or its cryptocurrency market, the whole entire market, is it more of a risk off asset like a store of value like gold or mainly Bitcoin per se, or is it really more of a speculative asset or a risk on asset where people investors will flock out of it. I mean, Amazon, Jeff Bezos, right? His net worth dropped by 9.1 billion in a day because of Dow Jones,
right.
because of Amazon stocks,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So think of that, like that is 9.1 billion, right? Cryptocurrency market did by 16 bill or 13 bill, that
20
range,
actually.
20 bill,
20
yeah,
B.
20 bill.
20 B.
So you think about it, a person's net worth dropped by 9.1, that's already 50% of what the crypto market dropped, right? And we kind of need to understand that point first. Now, subsequently, we need to understand that where is Bitcoin today. Now, of course, I'm looking at the chart here on Binance, BTC slash Tether. We're looking at 6287, alright? And the fact is, it has dipped below all the way to about $6,200, alright?
Which is okay.
Which is fine. I
Which
mean,
is okay.
on Gemini, on other platforms, it could be lower. It's fine because that's where you buy from it. All different exchanges at different rates. That's okay. But what we need to kind of understand is, are we really at the lows already? Now, for the fact is, on the daily chart that we can see, most of the time I've been talking about it on CG Market Watch Live, is that we have already been so low, right? And I have a discussion with all of you whether it's a stagnation because of volume weakness or is it because of suppression, that means people push it down. So right now what we're seeing is a cause, is an effect of both stagnation when volume is weak and suppression when people are just selling off, right? Suppressing Bitcoin's price. Why? For institutions to come in. And therefore you see Coinbase Pro, you know, even listing 0x, and it's all preparing for the institutional money. They have insurance back for Coinbase Pro, and that is actually giving security, and that is giving assurance to all the different investors, or institutional investors in fact. So if you were to ask me, is this a good time to get into BTC, or is it a good time to get into crypto, buy the dips per se? Well, I think it's more important that you focus or laser focus on the few tokens that we know that will more or less recover, right? Instead of being more speculative and looking at smaller caps, well, I think it's a good time to look at larger caps and the top at least 30 also, right? What do you think?
Usually, larger caps will benefit from the main bulk of the volume. Okay, so just I think I have shared enough about my previous investments, you know, over and over again. As you know, I'm not someone who goes all around the crypto sphere looking for the latest opportunities. I just stick to the ones that I'm always most comfortable in. I think last year when people who joined my channel knew that I was talking about ETC, LTC, they are still around. In fact, if you look at ETC, LTC, they are still higher than when I recommended those. When I recommended them, right? I still remember when I spoke about LTC. LTC was only $25. LTC at the moment right now is $50. So I'm still up. And ETC. ETC was something that I recommended even before I spoke about LTC. And ETC, the rationale was they are keeping to the main bulk of the chain. Okay, they are still sticking to the main bulk of the chain where they are keeping it untouched, right? Because Ethereum had to do a reset because of the DAO hack, and that kind of like didn't sit very well with the team, and they branched out. And I said, hey, if Ethereum is showing so much of a price differentiation, right? Then you have ETC that is like kind of below $10 at the time. In fact, it was I think only $1.70 or something like that. And now the price of ETC is hovering around I think the $13 range, which is or $10 range as of today. But prior to that, it was around $13. So I'm just saying that there is progress in all projects. Okay, so when the market really picks up, right, usually it will really bring along you will really bring along the solid projects. And you notice what are the major exchanges listing at the moment now. For example, there is a voting process going on Huobi, on NPXS, right? So all these projects, if the market is so weak as per se, right, why is it that projects are starting to have the courage to start listing or go through the listing process? They are prepping themselves for the bigger bull run. Yeah, so yeah guys, you know, the Wi-Fi here isn't the best, so I hope that you guys can be a little bit patient. You know, and if let's say streaming isn't so favorable for you guys, you can always just catch the rerun. This video will still be uploaded onto our channel. You can always catch it. But we are going to be catching a flight pretty soon, and we are not going to have awesome 4G or 3G as a matter of fact when we're moving around. So it's best that we cover whatever we want to cover. So at least if you are able to position yourself for the weekend, we will feel very happy because we kind of got you involved at like an opportune time. So as I was saying, okay, so in terms of the dip, why is this dip so-called different? It has been sustainable. If you notice, I've been away, I've been traveling, and I noticed that the $6,000 mark has been sustaining for a good number of months. That's confirmation number one. Now, folks who bought like back then when the consolidations were way higher, let's say, what was the BTC consolidations at the time?
The range.
The ranges,
Daily.
like daily, when we look at daily. So there were consolidations at maybe 7,000, there were consolidations at 10,000. I'm talking about folks who are still stuck, okay? Now I'm gonna give you guys a real solid tip, okay, that personally I have been using. Now, I have been hit by the market as well, okay? So since I've been hit by the market, I want to also share with you guys how I've been getting myself out of the hole. So what I've been doing is that I took a more active stance by trading in and out. Okay, so let's say if I bought BTC at $10,000, right? Obviously, I am nowhere near in the money. I've lost a good 40% of my value. Now, if I want to start reducing or bringing down the average cost, what do? I have to take an active stance. I can do that, or I can dollar cost average. Now the simpler way would be to dollar cost average, especially if you don't have time to monitor the markets, you don't have time to go and do charting, or you don't even know how to chart. The best way, honestly, is to dollar cost average, and you have to dollar cost average through this bear market. That way, you can bring down your overall average cost. The other alternative is that when you don't want to commit any more money, you have to be brave enough to trade the ranges. Okay, so trading the ranges is literally trading the current range and building up more sets, or if you're in a particular token, building up more of those tokens by going in and out and trading the ranges. Now this is definitely very challenging. Why? Number one, do we know that this particular token, especially if you're an altcoin, do we know that this particular token is going to enjoy long-term upside? We do not know that, but because you're already committed in it, right? That's what you got to do. The other more aggressive one is to just literally cut your losses. That means you're going to realize your losses, guys. Realizing, that means you came in at 10,000, currently now it's at 2,000. You're going to have to realize that, move on to something that has a little more, that has a lot of safe and solid fundamentals. Go into that and start working your way up. Okay, there's no other way, man. There's really no other way. It's like, if you think that I would just sit around and hope for the best in that current token, and that token is not going to do well in the long run, or has zero fundamentals. You see that the team is not communicating shit. They're not showing you that any kind of developments in their roadmap. There's no proof of adoption. No new products being launched. I only can say good luck to you, man. You know what I mean? But if you are in solid stuff that we have been at least we've been putting our opinions out there, guys. We've been consistently putting our opinions out there. So you roughly more or less know what we've been putting our money into, right? So you may have your own you may have your own portfolio, you may have your own ideals. From there, you start implementing the strategy that I just covered. So just to summarize, either you do a dollar cost averaging into that particular crypto, all right, or you start trading the ranges. That means every time BTC dips to 6,000, it takes everyone down, right? Okay, so that's the part where you can dollar cost average. That means you have to be a little bit more patient, which shouldn't be a problem for investors. Traders, obviously, you have to also implement more or less the same thing, unless you have a trading bot, and the trading bot kind of helps you, give you that millions of transactions a day or whatever. It depends on how your bot works. So if you have bots, great. It will also provide you that solid return. But I'm not someone who likes to use bots. I'm someone who just loves to do it manually, because I like to take my time. I like to observe what's happening in and around the market. So I prefer to just do a dollar cost average. At the same time, be active in range trading my particular portfolio. Now, it may seem like a little bit of a contradictory. Isn't an investor someone who stays invested and not move up and move in and out of a particular position? You are right. But unfortunately, this market is so volatile that if you don't do that, how are you going to get yourself out of the hole? You know what I mean? It's like, it's a chicken and it's not even a chicken and egg. It's a situation that we just have to deal with. We just have to adapt to the situation. Okay? So yeah, so Andy, the fact that right now we are in this current dip, do you feel that it is sustainable at the moment? I mean, in a sense that, do you think that the price of BTC is supported? And when you say it is, why? And if it isn't, why not?
Yeah, fantastic question. Personally, I think one of the main problems right now for most traders or investors is that we get jaded, right? We get jaded to the point that we realize that, hey, we don't know which dip to buy anymore. Like, this dip seems to be, the dip gets worse, right? And every time you buy something, it goes up. Every time you buy something, it goes up, right? So it's really kind of bad in that sense that you don't know when's the last dip ever. But one thing that's for sure is that we know that BTC did go to $5,800. Okay, it has never visited that after that 5,008 level.
That was,
Yeah,
that was practically one candle.
Yeah.
And that one candle was, I think, on the hourly or the 4 hourly.
Yeah, I
So
know
it
that.
kind of doesn't count in my opinion, because that was a week. And
Yeah.
if you talk about the daily close, it's definitely not like that. Okay, so
So
that's, if you talk about daily
went
close,
about
5,008 is
5,008,
non-existent to me.
50
Okay?
or so.
Yeah, it's
based
non-existent to
based
me.
on Binance. But in any case, that it's like the final dip that we went to, and then after that we were all kind of above $6,000 level. So personally, I also feel that hey, $6,000 level will be the support that we'll be seeing. And I really don't think that BTC could go potentially to $5,000 or $3,000 like a lot of people saying. It's basically the value that people determine based on the network, or based on the value of BTC per se for now, right? So dips are common, I guess, but in very common. Okay, but in crypto,
very common in crypto.
it's
Very.
either stagnation
It's
or
only
suppression.
in this space, guys.
Yep.
It's
So
only in this space.
it's always either stagnation or suppression. You got no volume, the thing dip. If you got people trying to manipulate the market and push it down, there's suppression. So it's how it's like, okay. But what we are really looking out for is the next run most probably will be led by the institutional traders or investors. No doubt about that. The custodian wallets are being out. Coinbase Pro offers insurance coverage on your digital assets. These are all telltale signs. So that, I guess, is a good point to note and understand that hey, $6,000 will be the strong support. If it really breaks through, you may go 5.8, you may go 5.5, but what's the like? Does it really matter now, right? So the chart is really at kind of like a all year low in a sense, right? Quarterly wise, we have not been improving at all ever since the start of the year. But you can see how the chart patterns form, that particular shape, that that when the bull run comes, when the volume does kick in, it will shoot up because of so much suppressed volume in that sense.
Okay, so from a fundamental standpoint, let me just say that it is definitely positive. It's no doubt about it. From a fundamental standpoint, it's definitely positive because you see all the infrastructure and regulatory work being put into the space, right? You know that people are looking into it. You're looking at the fact that, as you mentioned, custodial services, you're looking at insurance for the deposits, FDIC. It's really showing that, hey, if I'm an exchange, I want to be serious about bringing you in, and I want to give you that sense of comfort when you trade, or at least you put your assets with us, whether you're an investor, whether you're a trader. So you're seeing that happen across all the more prominent exchanges. So that's one good thing. Also, from an institutional standpoint, traders are now looking at how can they provide all these services that we were having. Okay, we are first, guys. We are first. So now they are trying to offer all these trading services and to their existing fiat investors, okay, which is their high net worth or their corporate institutional clients. It's already happening. Now, let's talk about the standpoint of the projects, right, or the ICOs. Okay, so ICOs, remember, guys, for the many years to come when you are in this space, it will always be known as speculative because of how early you are able to participate. Then it works down to the accountability. When there's very low accountability, for example, right now, whenever we go to any kind of meetup or some kind of investor talk, my question to a lot of them, I don't question them, right? I question them in, okay, they'll tell me how much they raised on the private sale. To me, I'm thinking, how do I know you actually raised this amount? You see, my question is, how do I know you raised this amount? There's no level of assurance. There's no way that we can know for sure. It is based on the integrity of the individual that's promoting the project. So we always have to accept maybe 50% only, okay, and we have to do a lot of investigative work behind the scenes. That is why, guys, we have to come together as a community and do a lot of validation, and it's not about one YouTuber or crypto influencer's opinion. It is about making sure that we validate to say, hey, okay, this project seems to be getting quite a bit of hype, seems to have a good working business model, potentially could have quite a bit of mass adoption. But we need to validate and verify the team, the CEO, the CFO, the CTO, the COO. Where are they from? What kind of background? Do they have any entrepreneurship background? Have they built businesses before? Because especially when you build a business before, you know that even if they fail, but they want to keep building a business because they want to still strike it out there and have a name in the space. That is very important. But then you have folks who are coming out into the space that are completely new, okay, they are young, they have an idea. We should not also shun them immediately. But how they manage the money when they receive the money, especially sometimes, right, I've heard of really horror stories of the moment they raise 200,000, bye-bye, they disappear. Or 500,000, bye-bye, they disappear. And it's very sad, it's very detrimental for the space. But you know what, if that is their price, to me, I'm always telling a lot of them, you know, sometimes you have to have money involved to see the character of the person. Because when they have never seen this kind of 6 figures, 7 figures, right, it kind of plays into their head. Wow, shit, I can immediately buy a house now. Who's going to stop me from running away with these people's money, right? So if they have the balls, that's why I'm saying, guys, always make sure, right, that you have people who are interviewing the projects. Always make sure that before you even before you invest in the project, right, have them come on my channel. Just say, hey, you know, I feel that you're a solid project. Would you like to be interviewed by crypto grinders? Then, you know, that way it comes from you guys because you all are interested and you all want to put your money in. Don't blindly put your money in. Just say, hey, can I invite you to an interview with crypto grinders? And you know what? Because they are a channel that likes to validate or at least ask questions about your business in a non-shilly way. Yeah. From then, you guys, right? They can come on people on the blogs, right? From then, you guys can watch the interview and then judge for yourself because we're gonna have a no holds barred interview, and that's kind of like how I've noticed the solid businesses that have been being built and do advisory, right? They are literally smashing the project down, right? They are tearing it up apart and asking very, very sensitive questions, right? Asking very sensitive questions about the project. And then from then, right, you will start to see how the CEO, the COO, the CFO, how they start answering the questions. And then from then, you kind of want to get a feel whether you still want to be part of that project, right? Because it is the community that makes the project a success, okay? Yeah, you may say, oh, it's the private investors that got everything going. Trust me, my friends, the private investors don't want to be seen, okay? They want to stand behind the scenes and, you know, like see what happens, you know, let the team go and do the magic. I'll count out the money, right? So, but don't forget, no, if they're doing a public sale, that means suddenly we have retail investors involved, people who are maybe putting in 100, 1,000, maybe even 10,000 if you're very convinced. But it could mean a lot to you. That information could mean, that kind of money could mean a lot to you. And so you need to be able to kind of be able to decipher whether or not you want to put your money into it. And I think that is something that you have to continue to learn in this space until the whole security token and then after that projects going to apply on SEC, whether they can do a ICO or not. Until that happens, right? Until you can clearly say this is an SEC approved. You know, it takes a lot of balls to say that you're an SEC approved, right? A project. I think no one has the guts to do that. I think only some crazy projects, right, have the balls to do that. But you know what? SEC, if they really want to hunt them down, they can. And it depends on the size. So you have to be very, very watchful. Until now, right, if SEC really had a approval on something, I'm sure that they will create a website and a page where they'll say, okay, these are the projects in the ICO market that we have approved. I think at least they have to do that to kind of give people the assurance that we really did do that. You see, it's no different from having a picture of Vitalik on the website, saying that Vitalik is one of our advisors. You still remember a period of time when every single damn ICO, there were certain ICOs that were so unscrupulous or scrupulous, or is it unscrupulous? Scrupulous, right? That they would put Vitalik's picture there, or they will put some kind of VC's face there or VC logo, right? To kind of give assurance. Do you still remember? Yeah, so that is kind of like the space right now. Okay, that is kind of like the space right now. It is still going to be the space. Hey Herbor, well, you kind of miss about 24 minutes of it, so you might have to catch the rerun. But hey, so guys, we'll take a little bit of questions. We've got 5 minutes, so let's have some questions, and then after that we have to end the stream. Okay, so R-Chain, yes, I saw a question. R-Chain, no, I'm not familiar with R-Chain. You know, let us know what it is. I mean, feel free to comment, guys. I think having comments, right, on our videos really helps us out, right? If your comments are constructive, all right, we will definitely work on them. Okay, how to improve, what are you not covering, why are you covering too much of something or whatever, right? Then of course we have the negative comments that are, you know, just purely negative and insulting. Usually those don't exist very long, right? Usually our admin will just delete them because they're non-constructive. Yeah, but you know, comments are always important because we kind of get the feel about what our community wants, right? And then from there we can build it. Do you guys hold XRP? No. No reason to kind of hold it. We love to trade it. I mean, there are people who love to trade XRP. It does have very solid volume, but we don't hold it. We see no reason to hold XRP as an investment, because if you look at it, right, it's better to trade it rather than hold it. Yeah. So yeah, I don't.
So there's one question on Mike.
So Mike Evans, yes. Is it institutions in Amari trade that are suppressing and manipulating the market? My dear friend, that's a very good question, Mike. I think you have been with us for a very long time. Really thank you so much for the support that you have shown for the channel. Well, okay, let's not say, okay, usually, yes, in most cases, there are little groups that are manipulating the market, right? And manipulation can happen in various ways. Manipulation sometimes is not a bad thing entirely, but it is an essential evil. It's an essential evil. Why do I say that? Did you know that, let's say collectively as retail investors, the more of us start using bots, right, we suppress the market. You get what I'm saying? Like if everyone started using bots, right? Am I right to say that you would have to put in a certain criteria when to take profit, when to stop loss, setting in limit orders? We, okay, I'm not as in, okay, I cannot say we, but let's just say we, because we are retail investors, we actually suppress the market. Like, because let's just say if the market wanted to rally 20-30% for a particular crypto, but because a lot of people are trading that particular crypto, all the orders will, the order book on the sell side will start piling up. Let's say when EOS goes up 5%, then after that there's the 10%, and it gets heavier and heavier, and the order book start filling up to sell at the higher price points. You see where I'm coming from? So in the end, we are manipulators ourselves without really knowing it. You think, because everybody wants to be more efficient in their trading, right? So one, I don't want to keep sitting in front of my computer. After I've set the criteria, I'll let the bot go and do the work. And occasionally I do some tweaking. And eventually, if everybody does the same thing, because like one student starts saying, hey, I've come across this bot. Oh really? Oh okay, let's start doing it. And then everybody does the same shit, you know? So we could potentially be the manipulators. But yes, I hear you. And yes, that is usually the case, because because institutions obviously own more sophisticated bots and their position sizes are much larger, but potentially they could own multiple bots because they can't fill up each order that much, and they have to have multiple bots because they don't want to scare the market off, right? It could trigger a negative reaction. So sometimes they have to kind of like set the orders in smaller ticket sizes, if you notice. Okay, so okay, hey, must be curly. Yeah, the icon is nice. Okay. Will November bug be the catalyst for the bull run? I sincerely hope so, man. Because look, if bug comes into the space, right, it just goes to show that the retail market is ready, or at least the institutions behind this bug, right, is going to be ready. So that's how I look at it. Yes, I sincerely hope that will happen. It has to be. I mean, you know, could you, okay, so Liana de Lange, wow, this is a nice name. Could you advise what coins are good for trading and the ones for investing? Thanks. Okay, this is a very long question. Let me just put it this way. There are cryptocurrencies that have solid volume. We're talking about 5 million. And oh shit, how come we just suddenly went black? Okay, so there are cryptocurrencies that have very heavy volume. So look for cryptocurrencies that always on a 24-hour time frame always have heavy volume. And then for investing, right, you have to do a little bit more groundwork. I don't want to narrow it down for you because it becomes like, oh, because if you're not part of our private group and you don't know us you don't really know us, right? And it becomes like, okay, you're just taking information randomly. It is best that if you are part of our private group, then okay, we are able to substantiate to you. But yes, if you are someone who wants to invest in cryptocurrencies or an altcoin, you have to make sure that you start following the founders. Follow the founders and see how have they been communicating their developments to the community. It is very, very important that you do that. And then after that, once you are convinced that the business model works and the team has been around for some time, then you start investing, because investing means that you are married to that particular project. You're going to always be contributing a portion of your monthly salary or your liquid cash before you and commit a portion of your liquid cash to that project and stick it out until they show solid development. There's no other way, right? That's the term investing. Okay, so without further ado, guys, I think we are more or less done. I think these are all the questions that we've covered so far. Now, if you have further questions, I think it's always best to ask us questions about your portfolio and whatnot. Don't always ask us about what do you think of this coin, because like I said, we are a channel that has we have a very small suite of cryptocurrencies that we put our money into, and that is kind of like how we're gonna approach this space. And I sincerely hope that kind of rubs off on you guys as well. So yeah, this is Ryan and this is
Andy.
and we're signing off from Bali.
See
See
you.
you guys.